I don't bring you to this part of Sherwood Forest very often. Maybe we should come a bit more, but I'm heading to an area of the forest called the Map of Britain locally, and I'm here again to survey for Cryptocephalus querceti. This is the fourth of the surveys that I'm doing. There'll be a couple more to do after this one, and we've been successful in finding querceti on 2 of the surveys, so to find it here would be doubly pleasing, especially as it's not been recorded in this area of the forest before. Tucked away in here there are some nice trees. Whether they were suitable for querceti I can't remember, but we've got the best day possible, ideal conditions. It's sunny, it's quite hot, and there's only the most gentle breeze. It's absolutely ideal. So I'm armed with my beating tray and my sturdy stick just in case. Hopefully we can find the beetles visually. That's if they're here in this part of Sherwood. Well, the path that I'm tracking up at the moment is right on the southern edge of Sherwood Forest. That is a footpath that roughly takes you down to the village of Edwinstowe, between a number of agricultural fields there. But there are some oak on the right as we look at this, and I just wonder whether there could be suitable oak and habitat for Cryptocephalus querceti. It's doubtful, but I like to rule these things out from surveying for anything. It's important to survey as much as possible, and negative results are every bit as important as a positive result. If the beetle isn't on that young growth, and it is nice young growth, that's what's making me consider it, and it's nice young growth because you may well be able to work out that it is cut on an annual basis by the farmer who farms this particular field. So it's nice young oak growth, and I think it's certainly worth a wander just to check those patches of oak, which are the lighter green trees and leaves that you can see down there. It's worth a try. It's the only way I'll find out. But doesn't that little footpath look nice? With the umbellifers, the cow parsley growing either side. It's not a well trodden footpath. It just looks absolutely beautiful. But there again, in the UK, everywhere looks beautiful in May, the best month of the year. Well, this is very much the realm of the chiffchaff, as you can hear now calling off to the right. This again, this whole area less than 10 years ago was pine plantation, commercial forestry. Not the best of habitats, but as you can see, there's lots of birch growth. Very little else. There's quite a lot of holly scattered around in this part of the forest, and every so often you get these dead old stag oaks dotted in and amongst areas like this. This is quite an open area, but in another 3 or 4 weeks it'll be largely impenetrable because the bracken will be at head height. It's really coming through now. What a tremendous plant bracken is, for all its faults and hated by many people. You have to admire bracken. It's so successful, just grows at a fantastic rate. I must measure that one year. I've been saying that though for about 10 years and never done it yet, but that's on my to-do list. The next thing on my to-do list is to try and find an oak that is suitable, and I need to head more or less straight ahead from where we are now, and then it will open up into another area where there are some fantastic oaks. It's actually a very nice walk along this edge of the forest. In parts it just goes away from the fields. It's very different to the majority of Sherwood now that the pines have gone. The mature veteran oaks that there are quite well scattered. But it is a lovely walk from Clipstone Quarter, and you can walk all the way to the visitor centre at Edwinstowe. Well worth doing if ever you're in this area. Well, I'm very much off the beaten track now, or rather the footpaths. The only way you can get around in habitat and conditions like this is to follow those that have gone before you, and in the case here it's usually red deer, roe deer and badger. Without their tracks it's very difficult going in this kind of terrain. At least there's no bramble here, it's just bracken at the moment which is coming through, and at the moment it's easily passable. But working out exactly where you are is an altogether different matter now that we've got leaves on these beautiful birches. But that's roughly the way I'm heading, although there is a tree just to my right tucked away that I'll just have a look on. Well, there's a nice oak here, but I'll see if I can reach the growth that's lower left on the trunk where the old branch has snapped off many years ago. It's a bit difficult to get to, and I will need to just give this a little beating. Well, no querceti, but I've got the caterpillar, the half-grown caterpillar of the black archer's moth, and I'll show you that because it's a very attractive caterpillar. Well, this is a young caterpillar of the black archers. If I can hold it steady, let's put another hand, because I'm a bit precariously balanced here, but I found one of these only the other day actually. In fact, it was on the last survey I did for querceti, but that one is an instar more advanced than this one is. So I will be taking this home to rear because I want to photograph it going through the various instars. But the black archers is a very nice moth. It is black and white, a white background or creamy white background with various sort of zigzag or V-shaped black markings, and the females are different to the males. I'll put a photo in of the adult. It's a very attractive moth, and a moth that reappeared in Nottinghamshire all of a sudden and completely from out of nowhere. And so it's nice that we do have black archers back again as a breeding species in Nottinghamshire after being absent for many decades, if I remember right. So that's the larva, half-grown larva of the black archers. Now this is a tree I'd long forgotten about, and I'm glad I had long forgotten about it, because I'm reconnected with this particular oak. I realised how secretive this tree is. It's been haloed several years ago. The pines were removed around it, but this tree is completely private. You can't see it from anywhere, and it's protected by silver birch that are taller than the oak itself. It creates an almost walled garden effect, or if you wanted to get really fanciful, you could say that this particular old ancient oak, this old soldier of a tree, is being protected by the younger regiment. The younger regiment being silver birch. And this is an ideal sort of situation that always tried to get across to management and ultimately failed miserably every time. But silver birch has a vital role to play in the protection of these trees, and that's what they do. They provide protection and allow these old trees to continue to stand and to grow. But it's a fabulous tree, and in the most fantastic private setting. This is where a walking stick comes in handy. I don't normally have a walking stick, although I do like one. There's something nice about walking with a stick, but it's certainly needed in this terrain, which, since they've haloed it and when they initially cleared it of pines, is somewhat treacherous. Not only do you have to walk over the crumbling dry stacks of old brash from when they removed the trees and the birches around here, you've also got lots and lots of birch regrowth, coupled with bracken in parts, but worst of all, bramble. But over most of it, you've got all of that. So it's treacherous going in parts and very difficult. So a stick like this is the perfect tool. But hopefully, some of the ancients that are in here, I can't remember to be honest, have got some suitable growth on for Cryptocephalus querceti. And you may well remember this area from a video I did earlier in the year looking for a false scorpion that I found under bark. That's the way we're heading ultimately, and then once we've gone through there, we'll pick up a forest track and the walking will at last get a little better. Well, I've struggled and finally made my way through and checked all the old ancients that are there, and other than the first one that you could see on that last shot, none of them have any low epicormic growth. So now that I'm back on the path, I'm going to have a steady meander down this path. There's a couple of oaks tucked in off the side of this path. I'm hoping that one or two of those may well be suitable to check for querceti, but this sign's drawn a complete blank in terms of both the beetle itself and that many suitable trees. But we'll carry on down there and head towards the centre tree. Well, that's the end of today's survey, the fourth survey for Cryptocephalus querceti. Not that many suitable trees, to be honest, none with good epicormic growth on, and virtually none, to be honest, have got epicormic growth on. So it's highly unlikely, in my consideration, that querceti is indeed in that part of Sherwood Forest. In a similar situation, nobody's in this part of Sherwood Forest. This is Clipston Old Quarter, and it's all mine. Not a soul. On a day like this, it's really hot, and I'm heading home shortly. But I'll show you how many people was here. That's looking up to the centre tree. There's been large red-belted clearwings still egg-laying up here. And then the other way, that's the way I'm heading. And broad-bordered bee-hawk moth, it's now time to start looking for eggs. I have found several eggs today and seen one adult flying around. But that's a walk that I'm going to enjoy. Unbelievable, this is a Saturday and I've hardly seen anybody on the even on the paths. Cuckoo's still here, of course. I love days like this.